Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is our Monday Night Raw review show. As you can see or hear, I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and I am absolutely privileged and honored to say he's back. He's even doing a podcast from his hospital bed. Here's my co-host and my really good friend, Mr. Adam Cousins. Adam, I usually start these shows off by asking, how are you? I don't know. How are you, brother? You're in hospital. You're doing a podcast actually while sitting in your hospital bed. Now, this is dedication, bro.
It is dedication. I was going to try it. Let's have a look and see there. If you can look at that.
Look. Everyone, there you go, you
there,
two
you
people.
can just prove that I'm not lying, that this is my hospital bed. How am I? Well, as I said before we come off air, before we come on air, it is not what I've got is not curable.
Mm-hmm.
It is a heart disease that is probably hereditary. But however, it is manageable with medication. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, thank Christ. And thanks to the people here at Trelisk Hospital in Truro, I have to give them a shout out, as well as the Barncroft Hospital in Red Roof for seeing the issue I was in. As I said before we come on air, when I went there on Sunday, which is like an outpatient centre, I was at 200, my blood pressure was something like 236 over 130. And the doctor said, I don't know how you're walking in here.
Wow.
You should be.
Yeah.
God,
yeah,
basically.
Jeez.
But I'm here and I'm doing reviews, man, and I'm back and I've missed this so much.
Yeah, I bet, mate. Bro, it's very weird for me doing this SmackDown review, chatting to myself. How you ever done them shows on your own? I felt like I was missing a limb or something, mate. So it's good to have you back, buddy. Let's talk some Monday Night Raw. One of the big questions we got about Raw and the feedback we've got from this past episodes of Raw, before we break it all down and watch everything happened, is Monday Night Raw now getting too Judgment Day heavy? And what I mean by that is, and a lot of people have commented and a few people have tweeted and a couple of my friends have DM'd me, because of the success they've had with the Bloodline over the last 3 years. It was 3 years last week since Roman Reigns won the title at Hell in a Cell. Do you think now WWE are going too much for the factions? I saw a lot on social media today. I was scrolling through doing a little bit more research for the shows. I knew that me and you were doing this tonight. Have WWE gone a bit faction heavy? Because a lot of people are saying they're just bored already of this Judgment Day run. You've got Rhea not really doing anything. You've got Dom doing the NXT stuff. You kind of know that Damian Priest or Finn are eventually going to go at it. They've just bought in Matey Boy, the Irish dude.
JD McDonough.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's going to join the Judgment Day at some point. But have WWE gone too heavy on the old factions because they thought, well, it worked with the Bloodline. It's got to work with Judgment Day, right? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's an argument for that. I suppose they've got to test the waters. It was working on SmackDown. Does it work on Raw? Differences with Judgment Days, they're everywhere. So Bloodline. I mean, Bloodline was on Raw a little bit, but they were never on NXT. But Judgment Day are literally on every show at the minute. So I can understand why people are getting bored of it. I mean, I'm not saying.
Are you bored of it?
So, not really. Again, they're adding elements. JD McDonough. We always say with these things, if they're going to do it long term, and the Judgment Day plan for WWE was always long term, so they were going to take over from the Bloodline pretty much when that finished. So
yeah, I mean, there's talk of extending the Bloodline now. There's obviously, you've got Rikishi, you've got The Rock, you've got The Rock's daughter in NXT. You know, so there's potential to do these things. I think a lot of wrestling fans are like, well, wrestling seems very faction heavy nowadays. Gone are the days of having these great single feuds. We talk about all the time, me and you, Austin, Rock, Foley, all the Attitude Era guys, and and even before then, Hogan, Warrior. You had some, you've always had factions in wrestling, but I don't think it was as prominent as it is today. And that's AEW, that's WWE, that's Impact Wrestling, that's everywhere you look. Factions seem to be the most dominant element. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. It's gone to the days of the good old fashioned tag team.
You still get it. Yeah, we mentioned. I mean, we've done many a show when we've asked guests, "Do you think tag team wrestling is a dying art?" I mean, it was kind of a brief resurgence with the Usos.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not bored of the Judgment Day, but I get what they're trying to do it because you think when the Bloodline was really at its pomp, and not saying it's dead now, but you know what's going on. But for every single segment on this past week's Raw, seem to somehow involve the Judgment Day. And I think that's what a lot of fans are like, come on, we watch Raw maybe for, it seems weird to say, they watch Raw for an alternative now, where it used to be vice versa. You watch SmackDown, or you watch Sunday Night Heat, or now people watch Raw because they're thinking, right, Bloodline, some people don't like them. We love it, but some people don't want the Bloodline story ran down their throats. So they watch Raw. And all we got this week was Judgment Day. So let's start it off. Sami Zayn was obviously back in Toronto. Did the intro, did it give you kind of Hulk Hogan-esque kind of vibes? You remember the Monday Night Raw when he come out dressed as in the NWO gear, and the reception went on for I think it was a record, wasn't it? I think it was something like 20 minutes. Sami Zayn's reception wasn't quite 20 minutes, but I've said many a times, if there's one place that I can go and watch wrestling that isn't the UK, I'd love to watch a wrestling show in Toronto. I mean, this show kicked off with an absolute bang. How good are that Canadian crowd?
Canadian crowds have always been great, and they especially get behind their boys well. Sami Zayn's, it was just like it was when he was feuding with Roman. But yeah, I think it makes more sense to start with the Canadian guy anyway, just because it's going to come at one point. And you don't want the fans taking over the show either.
No, we've been there Monday Night Raw after Mania. Obviously, Sami come out. It got a great reception. The Judgment Day, we all knew it was coming. The Judgment Day come out, and then they surrounded the ring, and Sami Zayn's like, well, you didn't think I'd come alone. And then making his first appearance for a good few weeks was Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Great time to bring him back if you're going to bring him back in Toronto. So obviously KO come out, and they kind of said, like, look, it'll be us two versus anyone to the Judgment Day. And Raw was off and running. I mean, how did you make of this little storyline going on with the Judgment Day and KO and Sami? KO and Sami haven't really. Do you remember we said at the start of the show things are dying? It's KO and Sami. Remember back in the day when feuds were feuds? Since they've become tag team champions at WrestleMania, they had that little bit with the Bloodline because it was Sami leaving, and they had the stuff with the Usos, and then they had a rematch and yada yada yada. But they haven't really. If I said to you, Adam, what feud have you enjoyed the most with KO and Sami since WrestleMania? I was trying to think of this today, so I thought that'd be a good question to ask in the pod. I was thinking, I wouldn't actually know how to answer my own question. I mean, could you answer it?
No. Yeah. No, not at all. I couldn't do it. They haven't really done anything, have they? That's the problem. And that's the thing when you take over, when the tag titles have been there for a year, and the Usos are defending it, and they're defending it in absolute banger matches everywhere they go. It doesn't really, and then you take it off them. There's always that risk. I don't think they'll be title holders for much longer, but I don't know who will be beating them either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't see them payback. Who are they fighting at payback?
No, it's next week. Is it not?
I thought it was this Saturday.
They've got a number one contenders match next week, isn't it?
That's it. And then it's the same. So we've got All Out, and we've got Payback on the Saturday, and All Out on the Sunday.
Yeah, so we got. If you look at it this way, and you got Hey, listen, Hook on Wrestling done that. They took it off me.
Yeah, they nicked your thing.
You got Rev Pro Saturday. Got All In Sunday. You got Payback, All Out.
Yeah, what 2 weeks for wrestling fans. You got Raw, SmackDown, and everything else squeezed in the middle. So that was Monday. It was a great start to Raw. A lot of the comments and the feedback we got from at HCT Buckle were, and a lot of friends I spoke to. I know Nick, good mate of ours who listens to this, he was like, Raw bored the shit out of him this weekend. He said start was good, crowd are good, and then it just went. Talking of, I thought I'd got rid of him, mate. I thought I was never going to see him again. And then they put him with Drew McIntyre. Riddle and Drew versus the New Day. Please tell me, for the love of God, Drew's not going to be stuck with Matt Riddle. I'm hoping this is going to be some sort of tease for Randy Orton maybe coming back, or is he, what did you make of the whole New Day and Drew and Riddle? And they've already scheduled a rematch, and it was an all right match, but I was like, no, please tell me they're not putting Drew and Riddle as a tag team, and then a New Day come up with a name for them. And no, I was done, dude.
I think it's just a thingy so that Drew can eventually turn heel on Riddle. That's what I think. And I think they're just, to be fair, he still hasn't signed his contract. So it's
true. Yeah.
So true. Could be just going through the motions.
Yeah. When's his current deal up?
February, March.
Okay, so he's got a Mania time, yeah. So, God, you wouldn't want to lose it. And then obviously he'll have to no compete for 90 days.
Well, no, he won't. If his contract expires.
His contract's up, true. He could go straight to AEW.
Could they? That'll be
Mm.
there'll be no 90-day release. So you'll be
Just briefly, while we're talking about going to AEW, you've probably seen it online today. I know you've been in hospital, but you've probably been on your phone. Your boy Edge had to put out a tweet this morning. I don't know if you've seen his video.
I put it on the group.
Yeah, sipping his cup of coffee. What did you make of the whole Edge thing and all these people now tweeting pictures of him? He's going to be all elite. And is there a chance? I mean, I always argue the WWE case and like these big stars that I don't think would go to AEW. If they got Edge, it would be I'm going to go there. It'd be bigger than getting Moxley and Punk. You're the biggest Edge fan I know on the whole planet. Is there any chance? I mean, he's got an offer of a contract from WWE. It's in his inbox. He said that. He's trying to figure out whether he retires, whether he does acting. He mentioned the acting, that he might go back into the acting. He's got a contract offer from WWE. Or could we actually see Edge? The only thing, I don't think we'll see him in AEW. I think he's maybe got a year maximum left. Would we get Edge watered down version AEW? We've seen him in his prime. I'm not discrediting him going into AEW. If he does, fair play to them for getting him, and B, fair play to him for going. But in your opinion, would he want to have this great WWE legacy for 25 years, just celebrated, and then maybe go to AEW for a year? Could it be possible?
Yeah, it is. Look, you've got to look at who's down there, and look at what he wants to accomplish and who he wants to have matches with.
Christian's there.
Yeah, the FTR's there. Christian.
FTR's there. So
you look at that, and you wouldn't, you couldn't begrudge him a year in AEW just to get those matches. So run with Christian against FDR, maybe against the Bucks. God forbid they do a Hardy's Edge and Christian match, but you know what they're like over there. They probably would. Rule it out, never. I'm leaning towards he'll probably re-sign. Last week I was a bit more. He's probably going all elite.
I reckon. I wonder how long the new deal is. I wonder what WWE have offered him. Year?
Well,
Mania up to Mania. So it's 6 months deal, something like that.
I think I read it was. I mean, the thing is, all the internet stuff's just a throw about with a bit of fish in it, and if you catch the line, you'll read it. And there's 99 stories they put out of crap, and one story's right, and they take all the plaudits.
Meltzer made a career out of that, mate.
Yeah. So, is it possible? Yes. It's just up to him, isn't it? And what he wants.
Yeah. From a selfish point of view, I want to see him finish where he started in WWE. I wouldn't begrudge him going to AEW. I mean, I watched Dynamite this week. It was quite good. And like you say, he's got a lot of pals down there. One thing I did think was quite funny, mate, and I know you know me and I know you, we're the biggest WWE guys going. I thought it was quite interesting before the New Day and the Drew and Riddle match got started when they come back from the commercial break. He said WWE would like to announce that they have sold 90,000 tickets for WrestleMania in Philadelphia. I was like, come on. Can you not let AEW just have the way they had to put it in there that they sold 90,000 tickets in one day?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that's great. I mean, you said it 90, it's WrestleMania, but we all know why they've done it. And hey, look, this is me talking as the biggest WWE guy going ever. I was like, oh, okay, and hey, this is where I go back to Parker and what Dave say, and I was kind of agreeing with him. I always say all the time, WWE don't care about AEW. Well, maybe them saying, oh, yeah, we've done the 90,000 for WrestleMania with AEW knowing that they've just released all the figures for Wembley, which I've got a little point for that in a minute, by the way. So I found out something really interesting today. What did you make of WWE just putting that little drop in the ocean in there?
They always drop a few, don't they? That's the thing. And that's where people will always say that they do care, because if you didn't care, you wouldn't, and obviously they've got to tout what they've done, because it is a good feat. Don't get me wrong, 90,000 tickets in a day it's fantastic, and congratulations to it. But yeah, I mean, they do drop snidey little ones in there. There was a couple of times during feuds where there was a little dig here and there, and yeah, it's a bit needless, and I don't think that helps the tribalism part of it, because it just fuels it in a lot of ways. But they'll do what they do, and AEW will do what they do.
But what did you make of the? Have you listened to any? You might not have been able to listen. Busted Open recently.
No, I haven't. No.
So Bully Ray come out and he made the fact that about how many tickets AEW have actually given away for Wembley Stadium, and the corporate it's thousands of corporate, and a lot of. I was speaking to my friend about this today. Do you know everyone's kicking off now because you can sit on the upper row for like £29. When them tickets were first released, they were £150, £200. That's how you get. Don't get me wrong. Look, I'm sitting here as a big WWE guy. I think it's great that they've sold out Wembley Stadium. But could you imagine me and you trying to get a Money in the Bank ticket for £29 and sitting down the front?
No
You know,
chance.
especially where you were and Rachel and your boy, where you were sitting. You know what I mean? So that's how you sell out a Wembley Stadium. You put all the tickets up for 29 quid. And that's, to be fair, and Bully Ray was making a point, and he had a long list about what he was going through. He's like, this 15,000 have gone to this corporation and 10,000 have gone. Hey, look, they've sold out 90,000. But anyway, we're here to talk some Raw. So we had the New Day versus Drew and Riddle, and the Viking Raiders got involved at the end and setting up a kind of beatdown with them boys. And then Drew come in and basically kicked the living shit out of everyone. And that match was over. You kind of, like you said, you mentioned Drew's contract there a minute ago. You kind of happy where WWE are going with Drew, or are they kind of like, we're not really going to put you in much because we're kind of waiting for you to sign this new deal?
That's exactly what they're doing. They're waiting for him to decide, and then, you know, as you know, if you choose not to, you get jobbed out. That's what they do. That's how they do it. If you re-sign, they'll push him to the moon. They'll bring him. They'll be back in the big pictures. There is a title on Raw now that you can go for. So he's there. He's waiting for him. It's just whether, you know, maybe once he turns, that'll be.
Yeah, here's my thing. I don't know what you reckon. Do you reckon he feels a little bit let down by the WWE? Because he everyone calls it the Thunderdome era and the COVID era. He literally put that company on his back and went, okay, I can do this. And now we're kind of, let's call it back to air quotes normal. He kind of seems to have been jobbed out. I mean, that could be contract, that could be he's had a little injury. But do you think in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, hang on a minute, I fucking carried this company through the COVID and the Thunderdome, and I wrestled WrestleMania at the Performance Center and beat Brock Lesnar. And now they don't, he doesn't. Clash at the Castle was different. It was over in the UK. That's why he kind of got a look in. But do you think they've kind of just not used him as well as they could, or, you know, they kind of pushed him aside? And that's where I think that's where his mind is personally.
Yeah, I think so. I think that they probably, let's say, done the dirty on him a little bit. Maybe the word, I don't know, that may be too strong of a word, but he did carry the company through the pandemic as champion. I know he lost it with Randy and re-beat him later on. But maybe this is contractual stuff that WWE, you know what they're like with this sort of thing. And if you're not signing, they're not.
Yeah,
they're not going to push.
We could potentially in 6 months have Edge and Drew McIntyre in AEW.
There is a possibility.
Yeah. Hey, talking now, let's get to something that was absolutely incredible. Your guy, I know you've been really high on him recently. Chad Gable versus Gunther for the IC title. Dude, if that match was at WrestleMania that I watched on Monday or Tuesday when I got up on Raw, what was on Monday Night Raw? Wow, mate, I thought of you when I was watching that match. I was like, he's going to be loving this, because I know how big you are on Chad. I know how big you are on Gunther. Tell me that wasn't one of the matches of the year. I thought it was incredible. And the ending was perfect. What a way to build a future.
It was a way of ending that match to keeping your champion solid. So you can take the L, so to speak, by count out, so he doesn't lose. He's going to beat Honky Tonk's reign. So if he does face Gable next week, unfortunately, Gable ain't going to win. That ain't happening.
What about when he threw him over the announce? Oh my God,
that was amazing. This is what I said all along. I mean, we knew how good Gunther is. It ain't, but Gable.
Dude, how far is he going to go, do you reckon? Do you reckon they'll send him to the moon? Or will he be kind of one of these, we do our top 10s, most underrated. If we done one in a year and a half, could he be in it?
Well, underrated, yeah. Definitely.
As in, like, not used properly by WWE. You know, you mentioned it about Brian Pillman's son coming to WWE now. AEW didn't quite use him. Could we see a case of a Chad Gable or Drew McIntyre going to AEW and them going, oh, okay, fucking hell, we're news, yeah?
Could do. Gable, the next 12 to 18 months, I don't think he'll be pushed to the heights of championship level. He could maybe win Money in the Bank next year. I don't know. Maybe that's a forte, but I can't see him pushing him that high. I'd love him to, because he's good enough. He's more than capable enough of doing it. But probably at the level he is now would be where I think WWE see him.
Yeah, he's one of these, like we mentioned all the time, like people breaking out from tag teams. Obviously, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, all these big guys are broken out of tag teams. I'd love to see him have a IC run. I think within the next year, Gunther's going to be, well, I think he'll take the belt off Seth eventually. Yeah, it's not going to be Nakamura. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that whole storyline in a minute. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'd love to see Chad have a run with Seth or whoever's got that title and say, here, let's give him a chance because they've done it with Kurt Angle. Remember,
Yep.
and he's kind of that same school of wrestling. So yeah, mate, I thought Chad Gable Gunther, that's a 5-star match for me. I've watched it back since Monday. I watched it again. I fast forwarded to that match. I was like, I want to watch this again. I thought it was incredible. So Gable wins via count out. Yeah, again, like you say, it sets something really good up. Then we got a really weird part of Raw. Cody and Byron Saxton were backstage, and then Cody was, no, let's go out to the crowd and talk. And he cut a really weird promo on the Judgment Day and how he's sick of them. And I said to you before we started recording, we were just talking about wrestling in general. Do you think WWE don't know what to do with Cody? Because we all know that is what's going on at WrestleMania. I'm going to be amazed if it's not Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. Yeah. But there's still a long way to go till we get to Mania. Do you think that WWE are kind of like, I don't really know what to do with you. Now Brock's gone, we would maybe put you in a feud with Seth, but that's not the title we want you to go for. And if we put you in too many feuds with Seth, there's only so many times that you can not win that title, if that makes sense. But we kind of all know that they want Cody to beat Roman. So have WWE kind of, they're quite in limbo at the minute, and Cody's as well, because I just thought he was pottering around on Raw until the main event, which we'll get to. And even then, that was just announced last minute. I mean, he just seems to be going through the motions, if that makes sense. And I think he's such a great talent. I don't know. He just seems to be wasted at the minute. I don't know what you think.
You've hit the nail on the head when you said the word going through the motions. That's exactly what he's doing. He's going through the motions. And I think it's just, what can we do to keep you relevant until
Mania,
Rumble, Mania, Elimination Chamber, that type of
thing.
They've
got to figure out how to get him in that main event, which is, I don't think, like you said a couple of weeks back when we last spoke about this, I don't think he'll win the Rumble again, but you never know. Hulk Hogan won it, 3 years running?
Yeah.
Something like that. One of them was for the title, so he won it for the title out the Rumble. I think it was 91. Yeah, he won. 92 Flair, 93 Hogan, 94. Yeah, so they've done it before, so they could eventually have Cody win the Rumble again. I think that's probably too obvious move.
Chamber,
the pay-per-view that slipped in before Mania kind of thing. Winner of Chamber gets in. Here's a question. Do you think it'll be a one-on-one again next year at Mania? Because I don't think it will. I've got a funny feeling the main event's going to be Roman, Cody, and another, with Cody still winning.
Solo?
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe.
One of the Usos?
Could be. I mean, it's a very good question.
I just don't think they're going to do. I know they've done it with Triple H. They've done it with Triple H. No, Shawn Michaels and Taker done 2 Manias in a row, didn't they? Yeah. You were at one. You went to the first
both.
One. Yeah, so you were there.
I done the trilogy. I done the 2 with Shawn and the 2. I know Hunter was at 17 as well.
Yeah,
I done the 2 with Shawn and the 2 with Hunter. Yeah.
So it's not unheard of in WWE. I just got a funny feeling that that's not going to be one-on-one again at Mania. And and like we said, probably about 4 weeks ago now, I'm maybe, as much as we say that WWE want Cody in the main event, I'm still not convinced they want to put the title on him now.
Difficult. I mean, they do a gimmick like a cage or something like that, because he lost last time due to interference.
I'm just trying to sell. Maybe it's been a while since we've seen that at Mania. Shane was flying off that last time we saw that.
The good thing is what you said is right, and they do like a triple threat. Roman doesn't need to get pinned. So Roman
doesn't need to. Yeah, he can say that I've never been pinned for my title, and that's how you could kick off a whole new story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit worried about what WWE are doing with Cody, because we saw the great reception that he got Money in the Bank, and then he went into the feud with Brock, and you're thinking, okay, here we go again. But now he's kind of semi-retired. Let's be honest. He'll probably show up at Rumble/Mania, but I reckon I've got a feeling he'll be in the Hall of Fame next year.
Maybe.
I'm hearing whispers that he's pretty much 1 or 2 matches away from going, do you know what? That's me done with wrestling. And, fair play to him. He's done it he's done it for over 20 years. But yeah, I just wasn't sure about that whole Byron, Saxton, Cody.
It's a bit weird, wasn't it?
Day.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was just one of them. I was sitting there thinking, okay. Talking of weird, they followed it up with another weird. Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. And Shinsuke revealed he knew what he whispered to Seth the week before on Raw. Now, of all the things he whispered to him, did you think that it was going to be, I know what's wrong with your back?
No, I don't know.
And this is me asking someone in a hospital right now.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I don't know what to think, but I will say this. It's about time the WWE found the right character for Nakamura.
He's much better heel, isn't he, than he was babyface already. He's only been doing it for 2 weeks.
And that whole way that he portrays that character is brilliant. So it's only taken him, what, nearly 10 years?
Yeah, just the 10 years, mate.
To get probably one of the best wrestlers in Japan, the right character.
And you think when he come in, mate, when you think when he come in, the reception he got at NXT takeovers, and when he debuted, and you had the whole music and everything going, and it's brilliant. But is there any way that Shinsuke takes the title off Seth, in your opinion, mate?
No.
I don't think so, but
no.
I don't know.
Strange things happen, but I think not. I think the only thing I would say is about what we were saying about his back was that he obviously played into the fact that Seth was on Logan Paul's podcast, and he mentioned it on the podcast. So that's probably good storytelling in a sense.
Yes. I never mention things on podcasts, mate. They get picked up by everyone.
Yeah, but
some people even copy it. I mean,
oh wow, yeah, some people even do.
Some people even just spend all their lives just copying things.
So no, I don't think he's winning.
Oh, good answer, mate. I don't think he will. I'll be interested to see what. I think they'll continue that feud for a while.
Yes.
It is a one. They kind of announced it after Raw, because I only remember this because of the Seth Rollins match. I think it's been announced. The show in India. It's not going to be on Peacock. It's not going to be on WWE Network. It's purely a house show. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It was announced on. To be fair, you have been in hospital, ads. I will let you
still
off.
here. I'm not.
Yeah, well, you are in hospital.
Yeah.
I will let you off, not knowing everything that's going on. Yeah, it's been announced, mate. So it's not on Peacock. It's not on WWE Network. It's purely for the light. It's going to. They've advertised it as a WWE mega exclusive live event. They've announced Sami Zayn and KO versus
Indisha.
Yes, shock. They're going over.
And Cena versus to be confirmed, right? Which is likely to be Waller.
Confirmed, which is going to be Grayson Waller. What did you make of the fact that? Well, I've literally just told you, but are you a bit surprised that's not going to be on Peacock or the WWE Network?
I'm going to quote a certain phrase. If you ever watch Catherine Tate and you see the Nan skit, what a load of old shit, basically. That is ridiculous. That it's not going to be live on TV. Listen, it's another event that we would probably enjoy, no matter where it is in the country.
Yes, a week, 2 weeks Friday.
Their loss.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, and you think, and it's going to India, but you think of everyone that would have been interested and invested to see what. I just wanted to see what a live event, how they would do the state, how they would set it up. Because I think there's going to be something like, I don't know, I think it's like 60 or 70 or fucking thousand people are going to be there. I'd be like, wow, I'd love to have seen that. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure things will fly around on social media.
Yeah.
But you think about, they go to Saudi Arabia, it's on the WWE Network. They go everywhere, it's on the WWE Network. It seems and when they go to Saudi, and let's be honest, they're glorified fucking house shows. They go to India and they're like, no, it's just a really big live event. You're like, oh, I was quite looking forward to watching that. But yeah, just one that baffled me, mate. Rhea Ripley, again, we're coming back to the Judgment Day. She's in for a lot of criticism in a minute as one of the most boring women's championship runs in the history of wrestling, ads. She come up against Candice LeRae on Raw. Yep. Rhea wins via submission, very quick submission, and they kind of try to put it over in commentary. Oh, it's good to see Rhea using this move again. And then Raquel Rodriguez come out at the end and challenged her to Payback, a match at Payback, which apparently was announced later on that is happening. As is Rhea Ripley. I'm kind of with the fans that say this at the minute because I'm not quite sure what they're doing with her. Is she having one of the most boringest runs in the women's title history? Because I'm bored shitless with it. She's not really doing anything.
That's due to booking. It's not due to her. I mean, yeah, you look at her title defenses since she won it. I think they've accumulated about 30 minutes.
She hasn't fought anyone.
No, it's all been squashes. There was one. Yeah. Natalia was the only squash that she didn't have. So it's it has been boring, but it's not her.
It's not her fault. It's WWE
booking it. But we said this before. We keep saying the word refresh and getting more women in. Who realistically? I mean, Raquel, probably the best version of challenger that she could have in terms of the way to do it. But who else realistically could
Maybe it's time they got Becky or I say it sounds easy.
Becky
to
might
go
be going
back
to
to.
NXT. From the sounds of it.
She's not.
Aren't we doing a little program down there? Yeah.
Oh, see, this is not. What did we say a couple of months ago? And I always said, like, look, when she was at her pomp and the whole, she was getting Stone Cold vibes. No, they're fucking dumping her. And this is why women's wrestling sucks at the minute, especially the WWE. I mean, we talk about AEW and not using their women's talent. Well, at least their women's talent this weekend at Wembley Stadium are going to be in.
It's going to be used.
That's going to be used. It's going to be a tremendous match. We pretty much all guess who's going to win.
Yeah.
But WWE at the minute, we'll get onto it in a sec. Becky and Trish. Oh, mate, that makes me want to come and join you in the hospital. Hey, I might start slitting my wrist. If I have to see any more of that, mate, I'm going to be coming down to the fucking hospital, mate, because I can't watch much more Becky and Trish. I mean, it's boring the shit out of me. But as for Rhea, mate, yes, it's been interesting. The booking hasn't been great. I'm not really sure of WWE again. It comes back to what we were saying earlier with Cody. They've kind of gone... Oh, because it's so factions. They've kind of forgot. Oh yeah, we've got a women's champion there. Why don't we put her in a little feud and a run and have title matches and title defenses and yada yada yada? But again, we're faction only in WWE, and that's really pissing me off right now. Miz was up next on Raw ads. What did you make of this whole segment? He brought out Tezza. This is what I can't believe I'm going to ask you to try and pronounce this. What's his name?
Axel Tozawa.
Actually, Tozawa. Yes, hospital's improved your you're on some good meds there, mate. Dave will be proud. Tozawa come out and he said, I've chosen an opponent that's worthy. And then LA Knight's music hit and he come out ringside. LA Knight's voice sounded really different. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know if WWE have told him to tone down his accent. I really picked up on it. But we said a couple of weeks ago that The Miz is the perfect person to go with LA Knight. But I don't know. The last 2 weeks, I'm kind of like, can we just get to this? I think WWE, they're severely taking... I know we said they're going to take their time with LA Knight, and The Miz is just kind of like a stepping stone to get him where they want to get him. Realistically, where are they going to get LA Knight? Because I think they're kind of... I reckon the boat's sailing away, and I think they're missing it. And I even noticed that with the crowd reaction was good in Toronto. Maybe it's just because it was Toronto and they were Sammy and KO. I don't know what you thought. I didn't think the crowd reaction in Toronto was as good as it has been for LA Knight.
Yeah, I think they need to quicken a step, shall we say, on the LA Knight train if they're going to carry on. Canadian crowd, I think, they are Canadian heavy. It was good. The pop was good at the start. Yeah, it was a bit low after that. Just wait until next week, I suppose. But Axel Tozawa picks up his first win in 6 years. 6 years.
Oh mate, I know he's been down in there. He's been in NXT actually.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's been absolutely everywhere. But yeah, I just don't know, mate. The whole LA Knight. If I had to say to our ads, what title are you putting on him right now? You can't have him beat Gunther for the IC title.
Nope, never.
So that's got to go from.
But he's on
Gunther.
SmackDown. Don't forget.
Yeah, mate, come on, dude. I know it's one of your pet peeves. I know you've been in hospital, and
I'm still there. I don't mean I'm there.
Well, you're there. You're still in hospital, but the draft doesn't matter. That's gone. Forget the draft. You can't go from Gunther to LA Knight. You have to go from Gunther to someone to LA Knight. Or is it a fact of the United States title, which is currently... I think that could be Rey Mysterio's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Could LA Knight take that off at Mysterio in the next... I'd say it's got to be the next... Rey can't have a long run, can he?
No, he can't have a massive run with it, no. It would need to happen within the next month. Simple as that with LA Knight. But yeah, technically he's a SmackDown guy. We know it doesn't matter, but technically he's SmackDown. So he needs to get in that mix. So he beats The Miz and then moves on to Mysterio, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's going to be... I hope they get to LA Knight quickly because, I don't know, this week's the first week where I thought, maybe something's dying off here. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I mentioned Snooze Fest a minute ago. Becky Lynch was up next on Raw, cutting a promo. Trish comes out. Hey, look. We all love Trish. She's an absolute legend. She always will be. Hall of Famer. I get it. Ads, I don't know, mate. This promo and this feud has bored the living bejesus out of me. I don't know what you think, mate. You could be completely different to me, but, mate, I think this feud has been fucking terrible. And maybe, I reckon it's, obviously Trish is Trish. She's going to go off and she'll be gone. And you never know. We might see her at Mania. This feud's done nothing for Becky Lynch, mate. I think it's moved her back 10 paces instead of 10 paces forward.
Get it over and done with. Get it done. Get it finished. Move on quickly. because it's been crap. What was Triple H's comment the other day when life gives you lemons or something like that?
Yeah.
Fucking lemons. I don't know about lemons. He's given us a load of shit for the last month, and it needs to end now. So finish it off and move on swiftly.
But yeah, like you said, well, Becky, is she good? You might have heard different. I didn't even know about the NXT thing. Is it going to be a kind of Dominic thing where she's on NXT and then she's still on Raw?
The only thing always happened is that the NXT champion come out and said no one's been. She mentioned all the previous NXT top stalwarts like Charlotte, Bianca, Bailey,
in a
Becky.
day,
yeah, not necessarily champions, and then Becky tweeted, "I haven't won the NXT title yet."
Oh God,
That doesn't mean say she's going, but it's hinting towards, and they're trying to boost NXT ratings. So
yeah, I've watched it Have I watched it this week yet? Yes, I have. It was okay. Had a little picked up for a bit for a couple of weeks, and WWE. I think. See, I don't like it when they do that though. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll just put you down there because we need ratings." Like, fucking wrestling business isn't about it. This is what Vince Russo talks about when he was with us. Wrestling nowadays is so clicks and likes, retweets, ratings. You seem to forget that if you give us a good product, the ratings take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Do you think when the WCW were at their pomp and WWF were at their pomp, WWE were at their pomp, when AEW first started, obviously the ratings are going to be higher because it's a new company. But if you give us a good product, the ratings are going to just rectify that. You don't have to put Becky. If your product's that good, let it show for the in-ring ability. Don't think, oh shit, we're struggling in the ratings here. I know what we'll do. We'll put Becky Lynch on NXT. We'll bring John Cena back and we'll send him to India, because that'll make that crowd really happy. Or we'll get Cena out of Money in the Bank and he'll pretend that we're maybe announcing WrestleMania in London. Do you see what I mean? That's where wrestling is now. And that's the side of the business I fucking hate. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. As you say, if your product's good enough, the fans will be there. You don't need big stars. You just need a good show every week. But yeah, I mean, Becky on NXT, would it work? Probably. Is it needed? Probably not.
No, probably not. Let's get to the main event, Raw ads. It started off with the Judgment Day, Finn and Priest.
Yes, because there's been a bit of tension between them, and McDonald's got involved, and Rhea's put her foot down, and you guys have got to basically sort your shit out.
Yeah. They ended up to start off with a tag match.
Yes.
Cody come out. There's three of
They started with a tag. It went into a DQ pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then Judgment Day come out, and then Cody come out to kind of even it up a little bit, and then it turned into a 6-person tag to finish off Raw, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what did you make of the whole main event? It was all right. I mean, it was a bit of I'm kind of like, I actually for once agree with most of the people that have tweeted us. And I'm usually, and you the same, really. We love what WWE do. This week, I couldn't get into the main event. I just thought it was a bit of a filler Raw for me. And the main event was, I get it. We've been to enough Raws in London to know that back in the day, Davey Boy Smith was never losing in the main event of something. Drew McIntyre's never losing in the main event of something. Paige, when she was Paige in WWE, isn't. I get why they've done it in Canada. But what I used to like about back in the day, say when they used to do it, when they were in like a Canada and Brett lost and Shawn Michaels won, that's how you get heat. That's how you develop storylines.
Yeah.
It could have had 2 weeks on the run. It would maybe piss a lot of people off. Judgment Day go over. Imagine the Judgment Day going over in Canada over two Canadians. The fucking heat they would have got for going off the air like that. But Cody come out and it was a 3-on-3. And of course, poor old Dom got fed to the fucking lamb to slaughter again. He was the one that took the arse whooping at the end. And, Cody, Seth and Sammy won, mate. But I thought Raw limped over the finish line. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and it's getting a bit too much like that now, isn't it? Every Judgment Day match is the same.
What would you do to, I don't know, how would you do it? How would you ignite something into this Judgment Day? Seem to be the main focus on, WWE really, SmackDown and Raw, they play a part. More Raw, as we're reviewing Raw. How would you, if you're booking it, you're sitting there, go, right, Adam, here's a blank piece of paper, book me next week's Raw and make it so people don't tweet us all the time saying, what about that?
I actually don't know, to be fair. I just think it's too, as you mentioned before, it's too faction heavy. It's difficult to really, just have them in matches where they're not interfering all the time. clean wins. I know it was clean this week, but it was starting off as a tag, so it wasn't clean in a sense, was it? Only clean at the end. I just put them in matches where things don't end up in DQs all the time. Would be a start.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like another faction that you'd be like, oh, I'd like to see that, because there's only really the Bloodline and they're fucking disbanding.
And there's only
they're pulling apart quicker than Katie Price's legs. It's like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a Katie Price reference for a few weeks.
No.
But yeah, it's not even like you can go, oh yeah, why don't they put him against this faction? Because you haven't really, you've kind of got a New Day. You've got this Drew McIntyre. There's an actual faction on Raw. You go, oh, that'd be good. You've got the Alpha Academy. You got the Viking Raiders, but
Imperium.
Imperium, yeah. I mean, even there's factions in there. You saw the little backstage segment. That's gonna be done soon, mate. So yeah, I mean, let's finish by we usually give Raw a little rating out of 10. I'm not that high on it this week, mate. I enjoyed Dynamite more this week. I'm not gonna lie, and Parker and Dave are probably coughing up their cereal right now or whatever they're doing, and Dave spat his tea out everywhere. Parker's spat his Gatorade everywhere. I thought Dynamite was a lot better. I'll give Raw 6 out of 10, and that's just 5.5, 6.
Yeah. So I had 6.5 written down, so we're kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, wasn't great, mate. Wasn't great, but obviously let's just finish up ads. Mate, I know you're not going to be there this weekend now. AEW Wembley Stadium this Sunday, going to create history. How have you found? I know Dave and Parker have just dropped the AEW Dynamite review show. Go and check it out at HTG Buckle for all that. What did you make of how AEW are entering the go home and how they're heading towards Sunday at Wembley Stadium?
Yeah, very strong. Very strong. With a strong show on Dynamite, which is good. The match is done. They've had to tweak a few visa issues and kick people out of groups. And there has been matches already announced. Collision's already been taped. So I'm not giving it away because I got in trouble last time. So I'm not giving it away. But there's been more matches announced for 0 Hour, I believe. You've now got my ticket, so you're going with Rachel, my Ralph.
My wrestling wife for me will be
wrestling wife for me, yeah, and just
will be in attendance. Yeah. I'm absolutely devastated that you can't go. But like Parker and Dave said in our group chat, it's just a wrestling show is a wrestling show. Your health is your health. There will be plenty more times when things are happening at Wembley Stadium and WWE and AW that you, I, Rach, and everyone, Dave, will all be able to attend, mate. So I would give up everything if it meant that you were going to be healthy. The fact that you might be home next week, maybe, and hopefully I'll see you at Rev Pro next Sunday, mate. But it's been great just to sit down and talk with you. I'm glad you are on the mend. I'm glad I didn't have to do a podcast on my own because that was the weirdest fucking thing ever. Just stay healthy. Stay healthy, mate. Let the hospital do what they've got to do. It's great that you've been able to jump on and talk about. Great. I love the fact. Have you got anyone else into the hospital? Are they anyone else into wrestling? Have you had any wrestling?
Not yet, but we've just had this podcast. So
hopefully me and you will review SmackDown if we have time on Saturday. Your mission is to find one person in your ward that can talk to us about wrestling.
I'll give my best.
I'll set you a challenge.
I'll try. There is an age gap in it. Yeah.
I was watching wrestling 1972. Big Daddy and Giant.
I'm like one of the youngest guys here, and that's probably a bad thing because of
fuck me. Where is this hospital?
Yeah, it's probably a bad thing in a way, but
I can't wait for you to finish this and explain that you've done a pod what? Cyril, he's just done a podcast thingy. But no, Ads, it's great to see you, mate. I'm glad you're well. We will be back. Our Dynamite review show has just dropped with Parker and Dave. Myself and Adam will try and get you a SmackDown review. It's very hectic this weekend, but we'll try and get you a SmackDown review Saturday morning, all being well, with Mr. Adam Cousins. But Ads, stay well, mate. It's really good to see you. I know all our listeners have been tweeting you, sending you best wishes, mate.
Yeah, thank you for that, everyone.
I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad to see you healthy, mate. I truly do mean that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I've been your host, Andy Burrows, but more importantly, I've been with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Adam Cousins. Till next time, everybody, buckle down. Stay safe.
Stay safe.